Oh, hello, and welcome to another Today's Decay, where we celebrate births and beginnings of everything important since the dawn of time. It is December 21st, and here are all the dates at Really Right. On this day in 1866, Maud Gonne was born. She was featured in this really great book, Women of the Golden Dawn, Rebels and Priestesses. Dr. Christina Oakley Harrington, I think, of Treadwell's Occult Bookstore in London, came to New York City, I don't know, almost 10 years ago, maybe. I think it was Pam Grossman who was involved with the Observatory Room and Proteus Gowanus, all of which collected a whole bunch of different people. That eventually became the Morbid Anatomy Museum and Morbid Anatomy Library. So anyway, Dr. Harrington came to the Observatory Room and talked about this book, or talked about the Women of the Golden Dawn and how they were the founding members of the Golden Dawn, and that Aleister Crowley was like this younger, he was a kid on the scene like 15 years after they started this, and that it was really the early Golden Dawn was almost like an 1800s Bromley contingent, like in the same time period, like 100 years earlier. That these were like Victorians, mostly women who were. What are you doing over here? What are you trying to get? Oh, this. I see. Here you go. They were rebelling against the world they were living in, where they were told women couldn't have any interests outside of the home, that they couldn't be physical, that they couldn't be lovers, that they couldn't have a career, that they couldn't have dreams. The idea of just Christianity was not something they were limiting themselves to, and so they basically created their own religion based off of, or their own rituals based off of pagan aspects, right? And Maud Gonne was one of them at a time when this was not okay. But they did it anyway. Drug use, free sex, all under their own terms, defining life however they saw fit. And I love this talk. Dr. Christina Oakley Harrington. Hopefully that won't be the last time we hear her name. We'll see. And I'll definitely suggest this book. I have not read enough of it, stupidly, but the lecture has really stuck in my head for many years, and I gotta go back to it. Sometimes I have like a list of things to read, and I get sidetracked very easily. You couldn't tell. Although doing these videos reminds me to go back and actually appreciate those things on the day they happened, which that was the whole point, right? Like, who would be focusing on Maud Gonne and the Women of the Golden Dawn if it didn't happen to be one of their birthdays today? Yeah. Also, 1902, P.D. Wheatstraw was born. The devil's son-in-law, the High Sheriff of Hell. Did he sell his soul at the crossroads before Robert Johnson did? I don't know, but his music, I mean, to believe the stories, the answer is a certain yes. But his music is really wild. Mid-30s, awesome stomping blues. It's raucous, it's brutal, it's wonderful. P.D. Wheatstraw, check him out if you don't know him. There's also the Rudy Ray Moore film with the same name, but don't be confused. 1930s Delta Blues guy is where it's at. You are the star of the show. Yeah. Michael Carraris, born today, 1927, filmmaker who's responsible for a whole bunch of the original Hammer horror films that we all know and love. The Flip the Frog cartoon Spooks premiered today, 1931. I've got this on 16mm, and I could have sworn last year I did a video on this that had the 60mm projector out and was projecting stuff, and maybe I should start getting back into doing that again. It's just the way things are set up right now. It's a lot of work to take everything out and put it back together again. But it is magical, and so I should probably get back to it, right? Oob Iwerks was the animator, and I am a huge Oob fan. And this is one of those like just terrific aesthetics of 1930s Halloween cartoons that timeless and wonderful stuff. Yeah. What else? Victory premiered today, 1940. We did a whole thing on the one from 1919, but today is the Frederick March one. That will be this one here. I'm not going to go on in detail about how much I love this story and the other film, the 1919 one. This is not a bad movie, though. It's really desolate, and that's perfect for the storyline. It fits just terrifically. And Frederick March is fantastic. I mean, what isn't he fantastic in is maybe a better question. We could be here all night talking about Frederick March. We sure could, and maybe we will. What else? Jack Nance, born today, 1943. Always keeping it fresh because he wraps it in plastic. And last but certainly not least, Golden Bat. Premiered today, 1966. Although the film Golden Bat with Sonny Chiba premiered today, 1966. It's actually, Udan Bat is this superhero from like street theater in Japan from, I don't know, turn of the century, World War I, could it be earlier? I don't know, not sure, but it's really great. And we did a Phantom Creep Theater in Coney Island one year, many years ago at this point, where we presented Golden Bat. And what was our stage show? Because we always do like Phantom Creep Theater is like a horror host spook show troupe. I'm a part of it, and we haven't done anything since COVID, but maybe we should at some point. We keep talking about it, but where and how, and especially right now, are you doing a live event? I don't know. We'll figure it out later. But in the meantime, we can always think back in the past, and in this case, what did we do for a live show for the Golden Bat? I don't remember exactly, but usually we do live stage shows that are somehow tied into the movie we're showing. Is this the one we got shot up into space and then de-evolved into primitive beastmen because there was some sort of chemical on the asteroid that affected our genes? I think that was Forbidden. That was when we showed Forbidden Planet. I don't know what we did for Golden Bat. I'm sure it was ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, so like spook show horror hosts, the story is in the 30s and 40s, you had morbid magicians that would tour the country, conjuring ghosts on stage, performing in between double feature B horror movies, conjuring ghosts on stage, calling up women from the audience and turning them into gorillas or sawing off somebody's arms, doing all sorts of like, you know, horror themed magic stuff. And it only really worked in movie palaces because you had an enclosed space where you could have blackout sessions where like suddenly, everybody stay in your seats, there's monsters loose in the theater! And like creatures would like run from the stage and like, you know, into the audience, which didn't really work in the drive-in movie theater era of the 50s and 60s because you couldn't have a blackout session and they're always supposed to end with a blackout session whether it works well or not. And so that was Phantom Creep, that was and is Phantom Creep Theater here in New York City. I don't know. It started as a Silver Scream Spook Show in like 2004 or 5 and evolved into Phantom Creep Theater eventually. Yeah. So yeah, what did we do for Golden Bat? Clearly not memorable. But it's a great movie, that's for sure. Nonsense, for sure. Anyway, there you go. That's the whole day. from me to you. Till tomorrow, you got your reading assignment. Goodbye.